Let's go to the Ashanti region now. Now, if you recall, Wednesday there was a fire at the Kumasi Central Market that gutted about 100 stores, and it's been quite disastrous. Our man on the ground, William Evansinkum, is giving us an update.
This whole place was in flames, but resettlement is even getting on a fast pace. As you can see, business is gradually bouncing back, but I can still see some smokes coming from some of the debris. I mean, we're yet to see the fire totally quelled, but at this point in time, well, the traders are back to business here, and the question we are asking is, will this not kind of the investigative process? That's exactly what we are looking at. But we will be speaking to the chief fire officer who is on his way here. Dr. Albert Brown Gaze is on his way here, and we will be speaking to him how, if in case they've been able to establish any evidence as to what might have caused this particular fire. Very soon we'll be finding out from him. But
we apologize for the break in transmission, but certainly we'll get an update from that development in the Ashanti region. We are told that the chief fire officer himself is there to ascertain first-hand information and then see if they can get the source of what caused that fire outbreak. And William Evansinkum was just giving us an update of developments there and how traders are counting their losses. Updates of that will be in our subsequent bulletins. For now, though, let's look at one other issue which has been on the lips of many. It has to do with the issues of transport fares. And the executive director of the African Center for Energy Policy, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, says it would be extremely unfair for the Ghanaian public or the person, GPRTU that is, to increase transport fares. He said any move by the union would amount to injustice and must be kicked against by consumers or people who patronize transport.
When petroleum product prices fall or rise, whose responsibility? It's usually the Ministry of Transport, which will call them for negotiation. But the Ministry for Transportation cannot punish. They can punish them. And so they often call them begging and begging and begging. Now, if we cannot address this, which is injustice to the consumer, prices of petroleum products have been declining, and GPRTU never thought for once, that, oh, let's also decrease our fares. And now, as soon as prices of petroleum products go up, the same GPRTU will come, when it suits them, they say cost of spare parts have increased. I want to call on government. If they cannot address this, then consumer power is what we can use to address this.
All right, so let's find out really what the other major stakeholders in this transport industry have to say about that call by ACEP that we shouldn't pay transport fares if they are increased. We've been joined in studio by Andrew Kwesi Kwachi. He is the Acting General Secretary of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, GRTCC, to find out really if they think that increasing fuel prices, transport fares would be in the right direction. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Okay. Afishapa to you.
I've been combating affairs. So.
Yes. To start with, do you agree with the call by ACEP that transport fares should not be increased?
It's unfortunate. He's speaking from one angle. Taking transport operation in totality, it is not about fuel. And so once he has the figures for fuel, he's comfortable stating that we are not even to increase any transport fares. What we've been telling the public is every year we're going to review the transport fares twice. That is January and February. June. We did not tell the public that January we're going to increase transport fares, nor June we're going to increase the transport fares. But we all take the prices of the items that makes up the cost of transport running. So we have started again. We are doing our review. if I know the review, it gives us the power to increase, why not? We'll go ahead.
When there is a price increment like this, how does it affect your business?
It has a lot of impact on our operations. You know, before you can acquire a vehicle, there's a cost to that. That's the vehicle cost itself. You have to register the vehicle, it's a cost. You have to do insurance for the passengers and the vehicle. You have to do a lot of even roadworthiness and everything. They come as a fixed cost. Then when we come to the operational cost, the day-to-day activities, things that we do normally change on the car. Because as a passenger, you only walk from your house, get to the station, and the car is there to serve you. But what really goes into it? The fueling of the vehicle, the engines, the tire and wears, the brakes, the tire rods, everything, those makes up the running cost. Then again, you have to look at the fuel as another component. Then you look at the driver salary. Sometimes this country, we seem to forget that there's somebody called driver who is also a worker, who also has a family that he has to feed, that he has to pay children's school fees.
But your decision is all year round. So you increase it now, and you are going to be taking the same fare for maybe up till the middle of the month of the year when you review your prices again. But you know, salaries are not reviewed like that. And although if government increases the prices, how does that affect me that I'm coming to board you? My salary has not been increased. And lots of other people who board or patronize your services also do not have that kind of increment affecting them directly as an increase. So if you decide that because government has increased fuel, you are increasing transport fares, it has an effect on me too, no?
Yes, that is why we're saying that our fare review is not tied into fuel, either reducing or increasing upwards or lower. No. What we are saying is, yes, we have in a caveat that after our review, along the line, if the increase go beyond 10%, that is the fuel. If the fuel go beyond 10%, or if the inflation goes so bad that it's affecting almost everything on the market, then we have a cause to go back to the table and review the prices.
Okay.
But if a fuel is being reduced by 2%, 3%, and you expect the transport operators to go and reduce the transport fares, last year we have the opportunity to reduce it by 5%, but the figure there was very insignificant, that it did not have any impact on the actual transport fares that we were charging the public.
But people were very uncomfortable with that decision, because when Ghana decided to deregulate the petroleum sector, then petrol prices and then all the fuel prices went down, but then transport fares stayed stable, and people were quite uncomfortable with that decision.
No, if you look at the trend, it wasn't like waking up on Monday to hear that fuel prices have been increased to 27%. That one, you can easily go back there and reduce it if it has happened that way. Even if you have had even 15% reduction, you quickly call for our attention. But if you increase by 1%, 2%, 3%, 8%, you see, and bear in mind, when we are fixing our prices, when we are reviewing, we take all these reductions into consideration. It is not ACEP that will not take recognize of the reduction that has occurred in the system. Okay. That is why we are saying it's a total review, not only on the fuel, but other components that makes up about 67% of our operational cost.
Total operational cost. Okay. As it stands, you're saying that below 10%, you generally do not allow it to affect the decision making of the transport fares, but it's inched between 18 to 27%. Does that mean, that clearly means you're going to increase it. How soon are we likely to hear transport fare increment?
Yeah, I've already said that all those smaller reductions that we're having in the system has been taken into consideration. Meaning, even if you are having 27 as a whole, it will not stand by 27 to us.
Okay.
Because after taking all the reductions, earlier reductions, it will still come down. But that is where we do other reviews. Bear in mind, insurance has gone up. road toll is about to be increased. DVLA prices have been reviewed. A lot of things. Then we talk about the Ghanaian driver himself. Sometimes the secondary school fees that you are paying, the driver is also paying same. But when it comes to drivers' welfare, the public don't want to listen to that. But we must also work for the betterment of our drivers. That is why sometimes, yes, for the fuel, you can make all the arguments. But when you go to the boardroom, there are figures and factors that will determine our new fares. Okay.
All right. We just want to know, is it today, tomorrow, next week, next month? When are we likely to hear an announcement from your outfit?
We had a meeting yesterday. It wasn't conclusive. Okay. So another meeting has been scheduled on the 14th, that coming Thursday. We'll meet again, and it's a review. In fact, if at the end of the whole program, and there's no need for us to increase, why not? We are not there to cheat the public, but the public, I'm sure they also want us to be in business. Because without the transport, how will you even get to your work? Right. So nobody is here to cheat nobody, but we must also survive in the business.
So if we will hear any announcement, to be after Thursday, after your second meeting?
Yes.
All right. Big thank you to Andrew Kwesi Kwachi. He is the acting General Secretary of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, and they disagree with ACEP that transport fares should not be increased. He's saying a number of factors are considered before the decision is taken, but after Thursday, we are likely to hear from them whether they are going to stay where they are, or there will be a reduction, hopefully, and then, or we are going to be having an increment. But we thank him for joining us to explain to us what they consider.